Job 12:7-10. But ask the animals, and they will teach you, the birds of the air, and they will tell you. Ask the plants of the earth, and they will teach you, and the fish of the sea will declare to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of every human being.
Go ahead and tell me your name and where we are this morning.
This is Bob Hill. We're at Hidden Hill, formerly Nursery and Sculpture Gardens, where Bob and Janet Hill live in Utica, Indiana. We've been there 50 years and really appreciate being invited to be some of the first members of the Wild Church meetings, because we live Wild Church here. We bought this place in 1975 and there was nothing here. And over the 50 years, we planted hundreds of trees and shrubs and bushes and flowers and ponds. We have a bench behind us, and a lot of that's just to come somewhere and sit. And many times I'll come out here at the end of the day. I'll sit on the back porch and look out, or I'll sit in this bench back over here and just look around. And if I can get Janet to sit still for 5 minutes, I'll tell her, honey, look what we've done here. We look around and just kind of take it all in and feel something bigger than us is here.
I love that relationship between taking the time as opposed to maybe forcing time.
First came here in 75. We had 2 kids. We both had jobs, and that took a lot of our time. But gradually, the kids went off to college and their own wonderful lives, and we looked around here, and we've had more time to spend out here. And for 20 years, we had a nursery here. We sold plants and shrubs and trees to people. And I hear people almost every week, somebody will stop me and say, thank you, Bob. The tree you planted, you sold us 30 years ago, is now 40 feet tall. And I say, yeah, tell me about it. That's why we do it. So we have more time now to sit. I'm very busy. I write books, and I've been involved in several botanic gardens around Louisville and southern Indiana. But you have to take the time to sit. You realize I'm 82 years old. How much more have you got? Enjoy what you got. Find peace where you got. Just go find a place and sit and look around and just say blessings for what you have.
We're going to do that this afternoon when we do Wild Church here. That's one of the invitations. It's for people to sit for about 20 minutes, which for some people that's a long time.
Yeah.
You got any advice for sitting still, or?
Well, just bring a big hammer and a nail and pound it in the ground and hang on to it. No, I think almost to that same end. I was reading a story this week about a project where people would stare at a picture or a painting for 10 minutes. That's all they could do was stare at it. And some people couldn't do it, and after 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, some people really get into it. And they start seeing the little things that matter, the different colors, the different textures, the air, the animals, the birds. We have hawks out here, we have birds out here, we have rabbits, we have squirrels, and we just kind of watch them, and they're used to us by now, and so we're all part of the family. One time we had deer, thank God they've moved on to other places, but that's very much part of it, the life out here along the trees.
Absolutely. I'm impressed with this vision of Wild Church because it asks the question, not just where you worship, and we can get caught up in the weeds with that definition, but inviting all of God's creation to sit with us.
Exactly.
Not just our own selves, but all the ecology around us. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had friends. We haven't done it here. I have friends who may befriended raccoons and such, and they'll feed them every day, and they'll come out and see them. And the creatures here get used to you. Some creatures, like I see a hummingbird, and they'll just come right up around your face, like, "What are you doing on my property, buddy? This is my place. I belong here." And things like that are just kind of fun. And also, it's just part of the nature. Again, you feel the nature. You get, it's just hard to get this any other place except sitting here in the woods. And we'll have plenty of spaces for people. Looking forward to that. We have benches all over the place. We'll set up a few other benches and just find a quiet place and just take it in. There's a butterfly over there. Come to join us. So they can hear it too.
Well, you've got a pile of trees here, a whole bunch of them.
Right.
You want to tell us about one or two that you enjoyed specifically?
Yeah, that's interesting. One for sure is a persimmon tree, which is mentioned 100 times in the Bible. I noticed that. The oak trees are mentioned 100 times in the Bible. Some of my favorites, like I get a 50-foot oak tree, pin oak. The day I planted that as a little whip, maybe 3 feet tall, my dad backed over it in the car. And it survived, and you can look up and see it now into the heavens. And when I see that tree, I think of my dad.
Yeah.
Automatic. I think of every time. It's like 10 times a day. I'll see it and I'll think of my dad. I have other trees. Kentucky coffee tree is interesting. It goes back a couple hundred years. But the female tree has a bean pod on it. And back before Maxwell House, the settlers used to take those beans and make coffee out of it. Hence the name Kentucky coffee tree. One called Franklinia is named for Ben Franklin. It died out in the 1700s, except the last remaining tree was down in the lowlands of Georgia. And some traveler had the good sense to save the seeds. And it's lived in that way for another 300 years. I've got 2 of them here on my property.
Wow.
So me and Ben Franklin are buddies.
He seems to be a fun one to be friendly with. You, last thing I want to ask you about, and people are going to notice this when they, you got a lot of art around.
Yes.
So tell me about the relationship to nature and art.
Well, it's also perfect. As part of our nursery, I've always been a folk art aficionado. I just think that's closer to nature. Like for instance, I gave a man an old mailbox, and he made me a mailbox on legs, delivering letters to himself. And I have another one, we call it watering can man. I got watering cans when I was in Europe, had them shipped home. That's another whole story. I gave the cans to a friend of mine who's a folk artist. He put together a Wizard of Oz creature about 15 feet tall out of watering cans. So it's a self-watering piece of art. Others are more classic, sculptured art. Friends of mine have done that. And there's a shark over there waiting to jump in the pond, made out of metal. I got a monster over here, a big blue monster. He's kind of a benign monster. He's not very noisy. So those are all part of it too, because you bring in other artists and other people who enjoy that kind of stuff. It makes the place just more relevant in a lot of ways.
Well, thank you for taking time to chat with us. Thank you for the extra effort to do a video for those that can't make it, but maybe experience the space. And
happy to do it, and come on out.
Awesome. Hey there, Wall Street family. I am Pastor Harley Matthews. I'm the student and digital pastor here at Wall Street, and today we've walked through some really great spaces. We've talked to Bob Hill from Hidden Hill Farm, and the closing of this service, the kind of way that we want to continue in worship today, is through some time. One of the gifts of Wild Church is that it is not traditional in the sense that we want you to be able to experience nature, experience the outdoors, and really just settle in. So the request of us for all of you viewing online or worshiping with us is to kind of center the text for today. You heard that in the beginning of this video, and it's just as a reminder, it's Job chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. And the main question that it brings to us is, do not any of these not know what the hand of the Lord has done? But these are not us, but the plants and the animals and the birds. And so the request is that you spend about 20 minutes. And if you're like me and you need a timer, I love my watch as a timer. My phone can be a timer. But we're asking you to spend some time outdoors. Spend about 20 minutes in silence. You can bring a journal, you can bring your phone for notes, but really an undistracted amount of time to just listen. And the question I would bring is, what do I hear? How am I hearing God speak through the wind, the trees, the birds? And as you kind of deepen into that silence, you're going to hear things differently. So I encourage you in the comment section or emailing us, let us know what you hear. Let us know what the joy that brought, if it brought anxiety, let us know that. Let us know what your experience was
with this bit of silence. Also, it's important for us at Wall Street to consider that not everybody has the opportunity, the space, or the ability to just go outdoors and among beautiful places. So I would suggest if for any variety of reasons the outdoors is not something for you, go to YouTube and click in ambient outdoors or something like that, where you can watch. There's some phenomenal high quality walks through the woods. That's a great way to also participate, and you can maybe put some headphones on or get into that moment with God, where you can just listen deeply and take some time. So God bless you. We're so grateful that Wild Church started, and we're so grateful to hear your feedback, and we will see you at the next round of Wild Church. Stay tuned for updates. Have a great time.